Steven. Scott is the co-owner and business strategist. That's a fun
Business
title.
strategist.
He's
First time I'm hearing this.
That's what AI said.
Okay, well, this file will be due for people that submitted it to us.
Fact check it as he
Do you want to put on the microphone and fact check? With 30-year tenure at the heart of the business, Scott is the cornerstone of the Minnesota retail community. He's driven over a decade of record-breaking sales by expertly navigating industry shifts and pivoting business models to meet evolving consumer trends. A board member for the Minnesota Retail Association and the 2021 Retail Manager of the Year, Scott is dedicated to the long-term vitality of independent small businesses. And then we have Steven, who brings 25 years of industry expertise to the leadership team. Since 2013, he has been the architect of the store's world-class curation, serving as the lead music buyer and assistant general manager. Beyond the shop, he is the founder of Init.
In it.
That's
Oh,
fine.
in it?
Yeah.
Init Records, an independent label with over 100 global releases. That's very cool. And serves on the Music Biz Physical Business Action Committee. Deep knowledge of physical media keeps the store at the forefront of the vinyl resurgence of today. Very excited to have the owners of Down in the Valley with us today. Come on in.
Throwing some bucks here too. Well, thanks for having us, guys. Honored to speak to you folks. The Golden Valley Rotary, we've been a partner in the tasting tours over the years, and we've been obviously a staple in the Golden Valley community for now 54 years. So I wanted to start out by asking a question about how many of you remember the first record you bought? Any stories? Anybody want to tell a story? Go ahead. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Yeah. You remember that feeling you get in your first record, right? That's still happening today, folks. You know, record stores are not on every corner.
I like the Jimi Hendrix one that I bought next, the best.
Okay, all right, all right. And we've got a record man in the room here too.
And Elvis Presley, J. House Blues.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else?
Mine was New Kids on the Block.
Was that a CD?
It was a cassette.
Okay. Okay.
I'm old enough to have cassettes.
Yeah, and what you'll find is that we sell all those different formats of music today, and the most amazing thing is that there are young people buying every one of them, including the CD, which we'll talk about. So music is a unique way of anchoring us to a time and place, and for our community, that place has been the corner off Winnetka Avenue and 55 here in Golden Valley. This year marks my 30th year working for Down the Valley. I've lived a lot of the history of this company, starting as a clerk, working my way up to store manager, buyer, and general manager. And recently, my partner, Steve, and I purchased Down in the Valley last September from the second generation owners. So it has gone from the founder to the second generation to us. And what you'll see is we obviously have the passion for the business. Today, we employ 20 to 25 people in our company with 2 locations and a warehouse, and we're proud to have been named Minnesota's best record store the last 5 years, as voted on by the people. And that's through the Star Tribune they do every year. So we're very honored, and those are kind of some awards that our company hasn't attained in my 30 years. So really, I attribute it to the partnership of Stephen and I the last decade. So I will go through a little bit of the history of Down the Valley. The independent record store in the 70s, the logos and everything looked a lot like this, right? And you'll see the different array of selling and advertising points there, right? So record stores back in those days obviously were a community hub. They were maybe a little bit of the counterculture of our society, right? And very important to community. And you'll find that, you know, we're just so thankful that the record stores of today still carry that sense of community. It started, Steve Hyland was the founder. He started with $1,000 in his pocket, crates of records and pipes. The first known location, which we don't have any photos of, was in a basement shop underneath maybe a barber shop, or it's really murky on some of the details, but it was down in we called it Down in the Valley. And when I started at Down the Valley, a side note is that I moved here to do an internship out of college, and I needed a part-time job, and somebody said to me, well, you know, Down the Valley's hiring. And I'm like, what the heck is a Down in the Valley, right? That name just didn't make any sense to me. But it was started in a basement on Golden Valley Road in Golden Valley. So Down in the Valley was the way that he came up with that name. So if anyone has any photos of that, please give it to us, because he had a fire at one point and lost a lot of that. Anyway, the second location was right at 540 Winnetka Avenue, which is right about where Doolittle stands today. This was a standalone location, and you'll see, you know, as the previous one, that at some point they brought in water beds to be a part of this, and I think it was a 70s thing. And we're waiting for that waterbed revival, because we'll jump on that too, right?
You were confirming.
Yeah, right. And this was a store where he grew out of a really small basement shop. And the other thing that we hear from customers that come in is there was actually a business underneath in the basement, and it was a reptile shop. You guys all remember that? Twin Cities Reptiles, which is still in business, I think, over on University. Is that St. Paul or Minneapolis?
St. Paul.
St. Paul. I'll ask Stephen a few questions. And you pipe in. And the third location, I think we've been there since '88, is now in the Golden Valley Shopping Center, which has new owners. If you're not aware, Pastor Properties bought it, and they've been a delight to work with. They have some great plans to revitalize the mall, the look of the mall, add some tenants, maybe small businesses and some local businesses that we're really excited about, and they've been great to work with. So we're looking forward to the future. And you've also seen the new restaurant that's going in where Mort's was, right? So that will be empty no more. It's a business called The Kitchen and Rail. I believe the gentleman we met him has another restaurant in Edina. I wouldn't say it's high end, but it's a little bit more upscale than just a sandwich shop. Or, you know, I don't know about that. We got anybody from the city here that could? Yeah. So, and just a little bit about how I got here. I graduated from Ward State down the road in 1996 and started the job, as I mentioned, working in every position in this company underneath the founder, Steve Hyland, from clerk, store manager, to buyer, to general manager, and now the iteration as owner with Stephen. When I started in 1996, the landscape was record stores were thriving. The CD was the #1 format, and it hit peaks in about 2000. From 96 to 2000, we really enjoyed a lot of success with the compact disc. We still did sell records, mostly used, and that has been a fabric of our company the entire time. And we watched that climb until the advent of the iPod and digital music. During the 2000s, Steve really was one of the leaders in diversification of the product mix, bringing in non-music items that fit with that aesthetic of the store, rock and roll shirts, clothing, books, toys, collectibles, and all that stuff. And I got to tell you, when he first started doing this, the CD was doing okay, but he saw this coming. And, you know, we were kind of like, what are we doing here? We're a record store, right? Thank God he did, because you saw in the 2000s, from 2002 to 2008, about, I don't know, 80% of the record stores across the country went out of business, right? So you see other businesses in town, the other long-standing business, Electric Fetus and Down the Valley were the ones that really diversified the inventory and made it through those dark years. In 2013, we were lucky to have Stephen to start working for us. Stephen had already spent many years working in record stores, And it was a breath of fresh air for myself to have someone come in that understood through those dark years that what it meant to work in a record store. And as vinyl started to bubble again in the late 2000s, um, Steve Hyland said, make us a cool record store again. And that's what we did for the next decade, heavily investing in vinyl um, and getting us back on the map with creating one of the best selections of vinyl in town. And it's kind of that if you build it, they will come. And I feel like we've really elevated the brand of Down the Valley since about 2012, 2013. In addition, we've also diversified and grew our online businesses. So we sell on downthevalley.com. We sell certain products on Amazon, on eBay, and then the big one is Discogs. So Discogs is the third party. They're kind of like the gold standard of vinyl. You remember the old Goldmine record books? You'd look in to see how much a record was worth. This is the online version of that. So you could you can create your own account. You can put in every record you own, and it'll tell you the real-time value of that. So we are a platinum seller on Discogs, and we've shipped in the last 10 years over 50,000 orders across the country and some international. So it's been a big part of our business. And most recently, the second generation owners, this is a small businesses in general, you got to have the passion. And this was their dad's dream and what he started, right? This was the store of the second iteration. See all that wood? That must have been a 70s thing, right? But yeah, but the second generation, like in a lot of businesses, if you don't have the passion, it comes to a point where you can't really survive on just being an owner in a small business or a record store specifically. You know, we deal with products. Music products are not great margins. You have to sell a lot of it to make the profits. And so it came to the point where they decided that for the business to survive, they needed to sell it. And we were obviously the people with passion, and they passed it on to us. So we've been enjoying that for a few months and learning everything that it is about owning a business, right? The good and the bad, I would say. Down the Valley's always been a customer service based business. If you come into our shops, our employees are going to greet you. They're going to ask if you need any help. We go to great lengths to help somebody find something that they're looking for. And if you come into our shop to buy anything physical, media especially, we're going to do whatever it is. This is a no snob zone, right? We're not going to look down upon you for whatever you're buying in music. That's kind of an old tales of record stores. But we're the anti that. So our customers enjoy that, and we think that's the best way to stay relevant in business is that customer service piece. So one of the challenges I would say is in the young people of today, they don't really have the speaking talents, nor do they, they grew up texting, they grew up in digital. So them having that one-on-one conversation is one of the challenges to get them to that point and be comfortable as that salesman type person. So our demographic, I would say Down the Valley is everything from a young teen to folks in their mid 70s. Currently, we're seeing more young people in our stores than we have in quite some time. And these are the kids that are buying records. They're buying compact discs. They're buying cassettes. So when you come into our store on a weekend, it's almost like a throwback to that 80s and 90s, the mall, right? They would go to the mall. Well, now they're coming to the record store, which is great. We kept diversifying the products that we had as well. So you're going to find collectibles and hard to find and weird stuff and edgy stuff. And that's kind of what, the whole package is what Down the Valley is, kind of everything rock and roll. And I guess that's an ongoing mix that we constantly match with. We have one of the most effective things is our members. We have a VIP card, which is a card that customers invest in, and they get discounts and sales all year long. We have over 5,000 active members today. So they are the lifeblood of our business, and we really value that segment of our customer base. We also do other things. We have a newsletter that we put out every Thursday night that details records come out on Fridays, CDs and records. The release day is Fridays now. So every Thursday night we send out a newsletter to over 15,000 recipients locally to across the country, that we explain what albums are coming out and um, promote what's going on that weekend with events and whatnot. Other unique things that we've done as we kind of move along, there's Stephen and I, is that we've really worked with record labels and distributors to do a lot of in-store signings and bands playing in our store. And one of the big things these days is listening events. So we work with record labels to do listening events. So that'd be the kind of thing of your favorite band has a record coming out 1 week before the album's released. You can come into the store, you can hear the album before anyone else. And then usually we have prizes and maybe an autographed poster to give away and certain things like that. That is one of the things that, here's some of the in-store performances we've had. Also, I just want to demonstrate this for how many of the young folks come out. So this was an event we did not so long ago, and we actually had to do it in 2 pieces, and we had probably over 300 kids show up just to hear the album. And this creates a sense of community as well. Yeah.
Do you do any private parties?
No, but for the right price, we will. Yeah. Yep. And some of the artists that we've had play, Soul Asylum would be one. They played our shop a couple of times. Dury, and a local band, and they're not all, they're mostly national acts that come through. Sometimes we'll just do signings. You can see a DJ there, Kid Koala, that did an in-store that was kind of unique. We even had, there's an artist, I forget her name, that plays the harp there, harpsichord, and you'll see just different kind of acts that we have come through.
And how do you promote those?
Social media. Social media is king, and then our newsletter and database for our email blasts. Yeah, that's how we promote. I just wanted to talk a little bit just about the vinyl revival in the industry itself, along with Record Store Day and how important that is to our business. So Record Store Day is an annual event in April. If you live in the area and you come by that morning, you'll see 1,000 people in line down the valley waiting for the doors to open. This is an annual day where they release limited and exclusive records that people camp out for. So it's not uncommon that we have tents out on the sidewalk, and it's in April, so we've had everything from nice weather to snow. But these folks that want to get that limited edition stuff will camp out. Most of the time, 12 hours ahead of time, where we'll have a real sizable people that stay overnight and want to stay in line. So it's really impressive to think of, in the span of 10 years from the late 2000s to where we are, that you'd have this many people camping out for records, right? The reason for the revival was started by a group of record stores back in 2007, of when the stores were going out of business. How we get people back in to record stores and show them the greatness of having a community-based record store. And that has since grown now into its 19 years. The vinyl industry has seen 19 years of continued growth, and 50% of all vinyl records sold in the United States are sold by independent retailers like down the valley. Last year, there were 49 million units of vinyl sold. And interestingly enough, the CD is on its comeback as well. I don't ever think it'll be like the vinyl revival, but we are seeing a lot of young people in our stores buying CDs. We're selling more CDs, Stephen could attest to, more than we did 10 years ago. So,
How are they playing them?
We sell CD players too.
yeah,
Yeah.
we sell CD players, we sell cassette players, and a lot of young people maybe getting their first car that has a CD player, And then one other thing with the customers that you see in our store is really marketing to that super fan. We all know the impact of Taylor Swift, right? Last year, she sold 3.5 million records. That's 7% of all the vinyl industry. She has that kind of impact. She's also been great to independent record stores. We've had different versions of her records or CDs that have come autographed. You can imagine the the amount of interest in those. And then she's also had records for Record Store Day 2-3 times that she's really done that to support indie. So she's also selling to Target and Walmart and everybody else, but she always carves out a little bit of that special type stuff for independent retail and small business, which we really appreciate. So the other thing we've done is you'll see on your tables, these records here are Down in the Valley exclusive pressings. So these are records that you can only get at Down the Valley in the colors that they come in. So you can go ahead and take a look at some of those, and you can see on the hype stickers that it calls out that that's a Down the Valley exclusive. We've done, how many have we done, Stephen? Dozen exclusive records, and that's working with the record label and getting pressings from anywhere from 300 to 1,000 that we'll do. We've also partnered with other stores across the country and do that.
What kind of network of other stores do you have in the country?
1,400 Record Store Day stores across the country that participate in Record Store Day. We go to a lot of conferences, and there's 3 coalitions of independent record stores that work together. You know, we got that buying power. You get those coalitions working together, and that's been one of the best things we did is join a coalition about 10 years ago. So we meet a lot of those folks. We have conventions and stuff just for record stores, and we get to know those folks, which is great as a business guy because you can see, hey, what are you doing well over there, and kind of borrow and share ideas, right? As any retailer would love. The other things on your table are K-pop. So K-pop is Korean pop, and it's really exploded in the last 5 years, I'd say. The amazing thing about these super fans is that most 90% of their releases come out on CD, or there's no CD in it at all. There might be trading cards inside. You'll see one there that looks like a box of noodles, right? And they might have some hidden prize in there that they're collecting. These are collectors. So it's made a huge impact into our in our company. When it first started, we're like, nobody's going to care about this. There's no music to be played, or nobody's listening to CDs. They care about it, and they're super fans. So they'll buy the 4 different versions, you know, of any release.
Did you see a bump in that after K-pop Demon Hunters?
Yes, and specifically that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and posters and clothing and anything. It was huge. Yep. Yeah, it was.
Thinking that your CD was pretty expensive, $25.
Yeah. Yeah.
For spaghetti.
Yep. So just a little bit about some of the plans that Steve and I have for the future. We've implemented a business system, something this company's never have. We have an advisor and a business analyst, and it's the Pinnacle business system that we're working with. So that'll help streamline our business, cut costs, open more locations is one of our goals. And it really is teaching us about, you know, setting core values for your company. Things like for our employees will really benefit from it, right? Is who are we? How do we do it? And what does success look like? So we're interested to add some of that stuff in that this little record store has never been a part of. Our inventory mix will be ongoing, changing ongoing. I think one of the things that we've talked about is we kind of got in a situation with our last buyer that we had a lot of great stuff, but it only sold at Christmas time. Our challenge now is to get those items in that we can sell all year long, because you know, with margins being really small on music, we need those other dollars to come in and help support. We'd love to do more with the community and be involved in, you know, causes that we believe in. We just did a pet drive last weekend to help out one of the businesses in Uptown that's collecting for those affected by the actions that are happening in our city that don't feel comfortable going, but nobody's thinking about the pets, so we're there to support with that. So we've got a van load of pet supplies that our customers have brought in, and we're going to be delivering that today. So we feel good about that. And I guess one other thing would be, Steve and I just started a in-house record label that we're going to be doing through Down the Valley. And we've got a project that we're going to be putting out next month in collaboration with 3 other record stores across the country. So we're looking to that to do our own releases of exclusive stuff only to Down the Valley. So we're working on that. And just to end with a few of the challenges that we face in the industry is competition in music. One of our biggest competitors these days is the artists themselves. They sell a lot of direct-to-consumer stuff, maybe a special color, maybe a special version. And it's kind of a weird thing that you're promoting an artist and you make your living by selling their music, but you're also in direct competition with them. That's just kind of the way the world's going, that direct-to-consumer. Other record stores in the market, I'd say, there's a lot of record stores in this metro area, more than you'd probably know. I think there's upwards of 40 record stores. So every little bit of that competition or market share that you lose is something, you got to make sure that you're doing it the best you can do it and take care of your customers. And then online, right, like Amazon and those other online retailers. Tariffs have affected us a little bit in the electronic world and collectibles. We've seen record players go up 12 to 15% since the tariffs came in last April. Collectibles, much the same. When we were doing orders for Christmas, there was that extra line item on the invoice of the charge for tariff. And that would be we saw anywhere from 4% to about 9 or 10% increase. So that's something we've had to deal with. And then, our top 3 expenses are labor, rents, and credit card fees, which is one you don't think about. So one of the things I've been doing with Minnesota retailers and the National Retail Federation is there's a new bill that Durbin has introduced again this year. Can we get some competition in that space? Visa and MasterCard own about 85% of it, 90% of it. Can we get more competition to help drive down those costs? Because as a retailer, that's just money for taking money, an expense for taking money is something that just doesn't feel right. But Down the Valley, it's one of our top 3 expenses. Target, it's one of their top 3 expenses. So that's something we're working on. So I think, I think that's really the overview of what I wanted to just give you a little insight on Down the Valley and small business and open up any questions and ask Steven some questions. He is our music buyer and has a lot of experience. So we're open to anything you want to ask.
Where is your second store? You said you had 2 stores.
Maple Grove. Yep.
Not
Yep.
cool like Golden Valley.
It's smaller. I mean, Golden Valley is always going to be the flagship. This feels like home. And,
Well, we're at the Golden Valley Road, so of course.
yeah. But Down the Valley has been very good to us. And in turn, we think we add something to this community. No, we're the next spot would be down in the South Metro. There's a void there we think we can fill. And that's going to be our next, that's our next goal. So, anything else from anybody?
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I challenge you all to come in now, and really appreciate it. Thank you.
As a thank you, we have some note cards.
Oh.
Scenes of Golden Valley.
Oh, excellent.
So you can send this to all of your friends in North Dakota or
Perfect.
your employees or whatever.
Perfect.
But thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for your support of the Golden Valley Rotary Club. You've been a great partner with Taste and Tour, and we're excited to continue to work with you.
Onward and upward. Thank you.
All right.